Well, ladies and gentlemen, who's ever watching this out in cyber world, whether you're watching on Facebook or on YouTube, my name is Sandra Champlain, as you probably know, because it's in the description, but I'm the host of We Don't Die Radio. I'm also the host of Shades of the Afterlife, which is a brand new show. I've been an afterlife explorer for nearly 25 years. I've written a book called We Don't Die, A Skeptic's Discovery of Life After Death. And I'm here with two of my very best friends in the world. We have the beautiful Kerry McLeod and the handsome Philip Dykes, and they run the Spirit and Soul Foundation, which is in Scotland. However, hasn't been much traveling in the past year, so we've been doing a lot of things online. And by nature, I am a chef, and I thought, let's title this, What's Cooking? Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hello, what's cooking for me?
How's the chef doing?
Cooking. Well, we're going to have some barbecue ribs tonight, as a matter of fact, at Chateau Champlain, cooking for my mom. Does that sound yummy?
It does.
She brings home groceries, and then it's like, what can we have? And so I get to go in and express my creativity and cook something up. But I thought it'd be nice to come together with you guys. We seem to be doing this once a month because there's always something new cooking for the next month. And we've been doing all kinds of online classes and demonstrations and things to enliven the soul and spiritualize the self and psychic and mediumship and our Sunday gatherings. And we've got some good things in store for May. So are you up for just talking about what we're doing?
Absolutely. I know we've had the Wednesday and the Thursday going for, well, we're coming up to the anniversary on the Thursday night. You let us know we're nearly at the 1 year anniversary.
Isn't that crazy? You have to share what it is we do on the Wednesdays and Thursdays.
Yeah, the Wednesday is the Psychic Wednesday. And we look at the psychic muscle, the psychic ability that everybody has, but nobody knows. They call it gut instinct or intuition or a fluke that they happen to get something right. But in actual fact, on the Wednesdays, we allow people to really get in touch with their psychic self and therefore other people's soul, and understand other people and find out that they can actually tell what another person has experienced and help them feel better about themselves through empowering. So the Psychic Wednesday is fun, but it's really a good foundation for learning about the self and how mediumship then grows out of that.
Absolutely. It's that silent communication between the soul that impresses upon the mind, where we really get to know ourselves inside out, but also get to understand other people. And it's this ability that we naturally have in life, that when we meet somebody and we shake a hand or they smile, we get a feeling about them. Well, it's actually digging deeper into that to really understand what the soul's expressing about life, about the person, and really what's going on at a mental, emotional, physical level within them, to really understand them. And it's really empowering when we learn what a psychic reading does, because it empowers the person in front of them. It highlights all their qualities, all their traits, all their strengths, and all the things that they've learned through life. So it's very empowering, very insightful, and it's a pleasure to actually enjoy and get to know somebody, because you've got the privilege of learning about them, and we learn from our own experiences of everything that we've gone through, and it all comes, and it feels like we're talking about ourselves at times, but actually we're not. It's our soul recognizing in another soul what they've gone through.
And I think through the psychic, what we've heard from people is, oh, I didn't think that was for me. I'm such a beginner. I didn't know what I was coming into, but now I find out so much about myself. Because many people misunderstand what a psychic reading is. They hear about that you go to somebody and you get told your future. Well, in actual fact, that couldn't be the farthest thing from the truth. There is so much more. In fact, it's not that at all. There's so much more. And it's such a beautiful experience to have when you're connecting with another person's soul and understanding them as if you're in, well, they are in breakout rooms experiencing this. And the thing is, there's no pressure because everybody's practicing. So nobody expects a reading. Everybody allows for there to be mistakes along the way. And people generally come out thinking, oh, I was so nervous when I went in there, but I had so much fun. And I really found that I was able to connect with the other person. And it's a lovely way to get to used to using the psychic muscle or the soul. And that's the reason we ask people to do the psychic Wednesdays before they move on to the mediumship Thursdays.
I love it, because when we have that experience for ourselves of knowing something psychically, we really start to understand we are not just the skin and bones we think we are eternal souls, and we are connected with others, and it's amazing. So tell us a little bit about Thursdays, and then we'll treat everybody to our new course on Tuesdays.
Well, the Thursday, as exactly as it says, it's the mediumship. It's understanding those in the spirit world, understanding all the mechanics of how they work with us, all those signs and signals they give us, but how to put it all together. But we're very disciplined in how we do it. We want to build that foundation of getting into the essence, touching the clairvoyance, the audience as well, but understanding how it goes together, but realizing that they are real people that are wanting to connect with their loved ones here, and giving their evidence in the way that they want to, telling their story of life. And again, it's so emotional, it's so comforting, it's so healing. There's a real quality there. And just recently we had 2 of the students on the Sunday gathering with us, and they held their own, they were professional, they remembered all their training. So it really does pay dividends and raises the standard of mediumship. And some of the feedback we're getting from these students is absolutely incredible, gets us emotional, because we're able to walk along their journeys with them and share those trips and falls, and we all pick ourselves up, and we're a community that stands together. And we have a few mottos, don't we, Sandra? One for all and all for one. We never leave anyone behind. And that's the way that we've progressed for 12 months almost now. I think it's next week or the week after, it's 12 months. And it's that community spirit, that development, that understanding, and that support from each other. Plus, we have the support networks, the home practice groups, where they all have their homework to do and work through. So it's spectacular, really. It really is in a positive way, enthusiastic and inspiring to watch them.
And it's enjoyable homework. It's
Absolutely.
Not like we get the ruler out and rock the knuckles if somebody's not done their homework.
I don't.
So what we're looking for the Thursdays is allowing it to move from the psychic, reading the soul, telling the story of the person that's still living, so that when that medium then moves to telling the story of the soul of the person in the spirit world, the soul kind of knows what to do because it's practiced on the psychic for some time. And we firmly believe of that progression from the psychic through to the mediumship. Because if we head into mediumship, we start focusing in on a narrower area of our learning and fail to really build that full foundation, including the personal development aspect, which is now beginning to show itself with the types of questions that students are asking us of, this is happening, is it normal? I'm experiencing this, is it normal? I'm wondering about this, I'm finding this, is it normal? And we know that we sat down and said, there's something missing in this little progression of people moving through the psychic to the mediumship, and we're a firm believer in there being the spiritual medium. And to learn the mechanics is one thing, and it will get a medium so far. To learn the formal training will get them so far. But then there's that naturalness, and the naturalness depends on the medium knowing who they are, not trying to be somebody else. So we've got some questions that came up. So we had a little discussion. And
We did, didn't we? And it's that naturalness that must come first. And this is what we're trying to do, especially through the month of April. We've been really talking about that naturalness, how it all works, how this should be, and adding all the mechanics, adding all the inspiration in there to make that difference. And to quote a few of them, they said it's a real step up and an understanding. But a few of them have said, turned around as well and said they're becoming nicer people. And it was so touching to hear that. And that's that community spirit again, isn't it?
And that discussion that we had and the questions from the students is what led us to Tuesday. Because there was that missing step to self, that missing step to all those things that begin to unfold in the medium, that we do our one-to-one mentoring and we can deal with those elements in the mentoring sessions. But then what about everybody else that's having the same? We were having the same questions. We always get lots of messages and emails and text messages and calls, which we're grateful for because it means people are reaching out and asking the questions. But there was a commonality there. So it felt like the right time to move into unfolding the spiritual aspect of people. And the magic thing is they don't have, people that come on the Tuesday don't have to want to be a psychic or a medium, just have that calling to find out more about the spiritual self and what does spirituality look and feel like.
Yeah, and it's no, we're not touching on religion or anything. It really is just spirituality, freedom of discovering the soul and the spiritual truths of life, really getting to understand themselves, really getting in touch with that empathic side and really changing the inner world to change the outer world, that create this legacy. I mean, we've just done the Sunday gathering on an act of kindness. Well, it's this that's missing within that mediumship, is that spirituality that brings and empathizes with the person in front of you, that's able to deliver things respectfully. But it's a personal journey, the way to your spirit. It really is about opening the self up and creating, and pardon the pun, a temple within inside that you can go to reflect on life, to find the secrets, to change your world, to get your answers, to make yourself better, or should I say, in touch with the true self, to accept who you are and move forward. It's that spiritual essence that's missing. And as we look at life, we tend to, as human beings, look at the negative. We want to look at the positive and create that positive vibe and acceptance that the world can be a good place, a nice place. People will be nice to each other and will be kind to each other. And it's reaching in and understanding through different practices like sitting in the power of mindfulness, self-reflection, and that personal development side. And the reason we know a lot about this is obviously we're mediums, but also we are accredited coaches, transformational coaches. That's different from life coaching and everything else. Once you've experienced this transformational coaching, it really does change your thoughts, your perception, who you are, to accept all your fates, all your faults, those perfect imperfections about you, and understand you're going to be kinder to yourself.
And I think in the last year, people have been in different degrees of lockdown or restrictions. And in some ways, we've had no option bar to go in ourselves. Now, it's all fine and well to go in and reflect, but at some point, it all in some way needs to come out and we have a little look at it and then we put it back in. But that unfolding of that spirituality allows us to do this outward reflection and know that you're not alone, that there are other people that have been on that inner journey as well of self-reflection in the last 12 or 13 months, that have found a newfound kinship with an unseen element of life. Whether we believe in the spirit world or not, it all starts with, what is it all about? What's my place? What's happening? Why am I beginning to become more emotional? Or why are the films affecting me in the same way? Or why am I not wanting to have conversations that are berating somebody else or get caught up in dramas that are not my own? We begin to ask those questions, and that's the beginning of the unfolding of a spiritual essence within the person. And that's what the Tuesdays are about, to give a common place and community to people to explore, to move through mindfulness, meditation, sitting in the power, exploring that spirituality within self, having spiritual debate, because spirituality has all sorts of truths, because everybody has their own truth. So we're not about sharing the gospel truth. I suppose it's more about offering the pathway to one's own truth, which can change from one day to the other. But it's something that we've noticed there's a need for within more people. Plus, it gives people the opportunity to come together. And as we saw over the last few weeks, people that come together regularly, behind the scenes, there's calls, there's acts of kindness, there's reaching out, there's text messages, they're checking in with one another. And that wouldn't be there if this wonderful internet hadn't allowed it to be.
And the wonderful Sandra.
Yeah,
well, and the wonderful you guys. I mean, we do this all together. What's nice for me personally is to get to a point where you really realize that death is an illusion. I mean, our bodies will go, but we continue on. And on the Thursdays medium class, it's always been so special to me because we're in breakout rooms, just practicing on each other, and not to be perfect, but to make mistakes and to witness, even within myself, thinking thoughts about my grandmother and things that she did, and then verbalizing that and feeling the presence of someone else and just thinking, I feel like it's my imagination, and having the other person say, that's true, that's right, that's right. And how wonderful it is for the spirit world to be able to use our imagination. So many people think that, oh, it's just our imagination. Well, that's how they get through. So, ladies and gentlemen, please don't ever discount that. But it's magical to see that. And it's actually not magic, it's reality. And then I agree with you about the spiritualization. I've done some transformational work, and I know that as human beings, we're kind of slowly making our way through life, and we learn, and eventually, no, that was being funny. But when we do the transformational work, or the things you're talking about, instead of going like this slowly, it's like all of a sudden you're up here, and then you keep on going. Like there's this big jump. And I know with many people that I've interviewed, and even in my own life, I mean, there's questions. Am I good enough? Am I on my right path? Am I enough? And this year has been hard on most of us. And I think I mentioned to you guys, I have been busy, 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 as a lot of us are, but busy doing. And how many of us have just been able to be in the present moment, tap into within, tap into what's really important in your life. And I think a lot of the answers are within, but we don't take that time to figure it out. And I've talked to people that have been senior in age who never took that time. And then maybe the husband passes away and the wife is still alive, and said to me, don't miss the moments along the way. Don't save for the rainy day that may never get there. Really be present and enjoy the now.
Absolutely. And I think there's one thing about life is that you were saying about going up like this, and that's like the learning of life. You can't, for the life of you, stop it going up, because we're forever learning. But if you take that line and then put a squiggly line on top of it, that's the emotional learning. You're up, you're down, you're up, you're down, and the actual lines will cross at times. And that's the unfolding of self as we begin to learn about what brings us our downs, what can we learn from them, instead of becoming immersed in those emotions. What are those emotions trying to tell us? It's not that we've returned to a painful spot, it's that we've been reminded about the emotions relating to that painful spot. So what we're going to look at on the Tuesday is allowing people to self-coach themselves in some way, allow those tools of understanding to come in, not to be able to avoid the past, but to in some way accept that we're not perfect, and the imperfections are often going to pop up and trigger us into ways of being, but that we're not bad people for that, and we need to move forward in spite of it. So it's really a bringing people together to have that journey. And the good thing is, a lot of the people that have already booked up are not wanting to develop their psychic self and are not wanting to be mediums, but are looking to find out a little bit more about how they might be better people, or more fulfilled people, or more in touch.
Because we all get in that comfort zone. We don't want to leave it because we become comfortable there, and we just think everything outside of that is a little bit alien, it won't go well, all those self-limiting beliefs. Well, if we take that little bit of a risk, that little bit of a step, we grow and we succeed. And it's understanding that. But all those things we're aware of or hiding from or put at the back of us thinking nobody knows, well, we're like glass houses. It's open to the universe, the spirit world. Life itself understands all the things that are going on with us. And if we put the right thoughts out there, the right emanations, things change. Our inner world becomes stronger, our outer world becomes better. We become greater, better people, kinder people, more empathic, considerate to everybody else. And this is the journey we want to go on. But we also are going to be talking about the journeys we've had, the experiences that we have. And I've talked about one tonight in a small, minute detail about the lady I met. Well, there's several stories like that I've had encounters with the spirit world when I've asked life certain questions, and the answers have come from unexpected places in a different, not from mediums, but people that are spiritual, that have a real essence and power about them, that live in a different society or world to what we normally see, but still interacting with us. It's phenomenal when we think about the stories, the situations and experiences that we've had, and how it's changed our perceptions. So it's sharing those spiritual laws, spiritual truths, and really accepting life and who we are. It's really important we understand that.
And I think we saw the now Tuesdays and Wednesdays and Thursdays as building the foundation for people to really understand the self on the Tuesday, the soul in regards to a physical person on the Wednesday, and the soul with regards to the person in the spirit world. All this the foundation. And then when we spoke, we looked at the formal training, which we call the mechanics of mediumship, or the formal training, coming in on the 5-day courses and the weekend courses, so that we can have that beautiful space where we can lay the building blocks of the foundations that will always be there, and then start building the way we work our mediumship on top of that. Because what we want is people not to lose the naturalness, not to become mini clones of anybody else, but to be truly authentic to themselves. That's why we've stuck to the weekday courses, where individuals can really find out who they are, so that when we give them the tools in order to do their mediumship, that they don't suddenly begin to try and be somebody else. They actually bring themselves into that. And we see the complete medium growing, the authentic medium, not trying to be anybody else, which would be a great shame, because what we know is everybody's individual. We all learn in different ways. We all speak in different ways. We all bring something different.
We do. And sorry, Sandra.
Oh, just that's what makes us unique, makes us shine. That's what makes us beautiful. And just if anybody's wondering, there's 4 Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays in the month. Each class is 2 hours. You get the replays. So I know with myself, I can't be live with you on the Tuesdays, but I'm going to enjoy them by nature of the replay. So that's available. But I agree, being ourselves and let our light shine. Gosh, there's such an element of freedom just to be us. I mean, life's hard enough. So trying to pretend to be somebody else or think you're not good enough. So let me try to be someone else. So anyways, back to you, Phil, and then let's find out about some other upcoming things.
I was just about to talk about where people's lights, you could just hit the nail on the head, Sandra. People's lights are now starting to grow, starting to get brighter. They're getting the experience in the breakout rooms. We're getting them through different training exercises and having different experiences. But we're now doing the student demonstrations for them. It's a platform that's built for them to get them out there. The 2 ladies that were with us recently, they'll be involved, and many others as well. It's about giving them experience to be out there working with the general public. But we're not just creating mediums, and we're not just spiritualizing people. We're also trying to create ambassadors for the spirit world that can stand up, that can talk. They understand the mechanics of mediumship. They understand the ethics, the responsibilities, the morals of it. So when they're asked questions, they can answer them truthfully from their own understanding that we've taught them, and they can build on that, because we're looking at the accomplished mediums, the final products. We want them to go out there and shine their light from under the bushel, as Nelson Mandela said. So it really is about building, your words, of a university of students that they can have somewhere to work and develop themselves in a safe environment that's kind and free, and also where they can just grow their souls as well and be true to who they are.
And this is the reason why some of our weekends are spent on personal development. We've got the weekend in May, the Believe in You. That is all about personal development, looking at self. We've got some coaching techniques. We'll be sharing some understandings about how to coach self. And then if we switch into July, for instance, we've got the clairvoyance weekend. Couldn't be any different in terms of the delivery of it, because one is all about the inside and the person, and the other is about the mechanics. But you can't do the mechanics unless you know how your mediumship works. And that requires every individual person to know exactly how they are, how spirit feels when they blend with them, what the communicator feels like, and then trust themselves enough to allow them to get it wrong.
Absolutely. And it is that platform and that special place that we're growing for them to go through these moments, experiences where they can get it wrong, they can have fun, they can understand it and learn in the right environment. It's really important that we give the students that.
So on May 7th, we have the student demonstration. May 14th, we have a demonstration with you guys. Yes, we do. And then May 15th, you've got something called your psychic awareness emanations of the soul. Now that's a 5-hour event on a Saturday. And I believe anyone who's interested can attend, correct?
Yes.
Absolutely. That will be focusing on the psychic. So anybody who has been with us since January or not can come along to that. But we realized that the people that joined us in March and April were maybe feeling a little bit like I've missed some that you maybe did in January and February. So we're going to summarize it all into that 5 hours. So if anybody's looking to start in the May and the June, that 5 hours will hold everything you need to know in order to get up to date and not feel like I've not had the same as everybody else.
And it's fun to do. It really is. It's fun to learn things from you guys. It's pretty much just like we are here. You've got your sense of humor, but of course you've got your passion to have integrity in your teachings. But then we work in these breakout rooms. And I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I'm constantly surprised because you really feel that you are much bigger than you know yourself to be. And how wonderful that is. And when you start having these psychic experiences and medium experiences, suddenly your life looks different. It is transformational because as you've known life to be, you start realizing life after death is real. You are a psychic being, powerful soul. There's so much more to you than you can ever realize. And your life is worth living. Miracles are possible. And I love it. I love it. That's why we're doing this, because I love it. And I know others love it. We have lots of students that have been with us since we started way back when. And of course, new students come every month and you guys get lots of positive feedback.
And that's what we've always based it on. We remember pre-COVID, you saying to us, I want to do courses that I would like to go to. So whenever we look at courses, we always think, would Sandra find this interesting? Would she be interested in going and spending her time and resources in this? And if you always said if you would go to them, then other people would find them interesting. And that's, I suppose, true for any course. We would attend them. We have attended them. We know how useful they are in our development and our moving through our own understanding. And so that's a litmus paper test.
Absolutely. We want to keep them positive. We want to keep them upbeat. We know the learning style. Some people have to do it. Some people have to listen to it. Some people have to experience it. But we also know that we have to be ourselves. We have to be true to ourselves. And we also know a little bit of humor makes it a little bit fun, takes the pressure off, because there's nothing worse than the energy of trying and trying and trying. So having that little bit of light relief and being who we are always goes down well. And you can interact with us. You can see that we're just normal people, loving what we're doing, having a passion for it, but also having a passion and understanding who we're working with. We want to get to know the student. We want to get to know their mindset. We want to get to know the self-limiting beliefs, their little frailties, their panic triggers and everything else, because then we can interact with them and take them past those marks where they never thought they could get past. So that's what we do and how we do it. And where we try to be very courteous of all them things.
It feels good. Feels good to be with you. Let's talk a little bit about your website, the Spirit and Soul Foundation.co.uk. You've got lots there. You've got a great YouTube channel now with tons of videos. Can you just give us a little walkthrough on your website? Because there's a lot of resources there.
There's a lot of courses out there, because we made the plan. We sort of looked ahead and thought we're not going to be traveling, but we love what we do, and because we get a lot of feedback from the students, they enjoy it, they tell us what they want to do. So we've tried to create a world of courses, not just in mediumship but psychic, also in transformational coaching, the real personal development. So there's lots of courses there, and some are weekly. There's quite a few weeklies. There's the Monday practical workouts down under. There's the weekly practical demonstrating in the evenings on the Monday. The Tuesday, as we talked about with you, Sandra, is going to be the way to your spirit. The Wednesday is the psychic. Thursday is the mediumship. We don't do anything on Friday because
Apart from demonstrate.
Yeah, I'm going to say apart from demonstrate with Sandra. So we've got a busy schedule, but there's also one-to-one coaching on there. To help people progress. It's all designed for the personal experience, and like you, Sandra, now we have that secure viewing platform and site and everything, so people can get to the recordings that have signed in and keep on. So you're going to have your own account, you're going to have your own login, you're going to have your own section with all your videos and things in to keep your learning moving forward.
And because people see the Sunday gathering, they're interested in whether their mediumship would translate to the demonstration, and that's the thinking behind the Monday. Small numbers where people get their opportunity to practice their mediumship in a demonstration with other people there, and then get to see other people demonstrate and receive their feedback. And sometimes that's more beneficial than the feedback that you get yourself. And it's recorded, you get a recording of that so you can watch it back. And if you think, oh, I wonder what Phil said about that, you can look back. You can. It's not the easiest thing to watch ourselves recorded when we're working, but it's one of the things that we strongly urge students of mediumship to do, is to watch back and learn. We do. It's part of our reflective practice. And we had so many questions that we thought, well, how about we record answers to some of the questions that we have been asked? And it's those little snippets that's on our YouTube channel. We've got about 50 at the moment, questions with our answers. They're about 3 or 4 minutes long. And then we've also got, we love to do Sunday gatherings and divine services. And we've got some of the addresses, the philosophical talks that are on there too. So they've recently gone up. And we've got a whole lot of different things. If we think people might be interested, we just upload, and what the heck, people might like to watch them and listen.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was an idea of one of the students where they said, can we donate to other students? And we said, absolutely. So we have a donation page on there, and 100% of it goes back to the students. And they don't want, what's the word I'm looking for, any knowledge of who's donated, but they can give. So it's been a wonderful idea by this young lady that many people have engaged with. That's done so many people so many good things and wonders by allowing them to take part in courses, because we understand that life over the last 12 months has been very, very tough, and people want to use their acts of kindness in that way. So it's been brilliant, hasn't it? It really has built a community through you, Sandra, and Kerry. It's absolutely wonderful, isn't it?
I love it. It makes me very happy. There's nuggets of gold on those videos, I feel. And like you had said earlier, when you meet someone else and an answer might come from them, I truly believe that we are all spiritual beings having this human experience. And sometimes when we ask questions and we need something, don't dismiss other people, because they could have the answer within them. So if you treat every person like they're a gold mine of information, and we really do reflect each other. So it's great. Oh, I love you guys. A few things about WeDon'tDie.com. That's my website, or our website. There are close to 400 episodes of podcasts that I say are mind-blowing. And I recorded them thinking the very same thing. What would I like to listen to? Someday I might be an old lady in a nursing home. Maybe somebody will take care of me. But anyways, if not, to be able to watch the replays of our Sunday gatherings, to watch the replays of all of our courses, to be able to listen to all these different great interviews and conversations. It's just amazing. Of course, you can sign up for the upcoming demonstrations and upcoming courses. Your satisfaction is guaranteed with everything we offer there. And you can join my email list on the main page, wedon'tdie.com. Just scroll down and you get a free copy of my book, We Don't Die, in PDF form. Although it just says the first few chapters, you keep reading, you realize it's the whole book. And there's also a very healing audio called How to Survive Grief, because unfortunately, grief does seem to bring us all together. And grief can be a curse because it can hurt really bad. But in a case like mine, and I know so many others, it can kind of crack us open to allow some new growth of our spiritual journey to begin. So I know without the death of my grandmother and my father, I would have never been on this journey. I would have never met you guys. I would have never been here doing a video like this. So there is a gift in grief, but we don't need to let it kill us inside. We can really embrace the reality of the afterlife and live a powerful life. So all good things at wedon'tdie.com or the Spirit and Soul Foundation.co.uk. How about a few closing words from you two lovely people?
There's a great interview on We Don't Die, and it's a wonderful interview of Sandra Champlain, and we interviewed you. So yeah, absolutely, that's one good thing. No, I think if we can have an intention that we want to change our world and hold that within us and believe in it and have those positive affirmations, I think we can make this world a better place, and we can make it better than where we came into as we leave it, for those people behind us. So it all starts now.
Mm-hmm. And as we move into another year, although we're a quarter of the way through it, there really needs to be that depth that goes into self. And it can be really, really tough. You spoke, Sandra, about grief taking us to the depths of ourselves. But when we're in that place, we see the true essence of who we are, and we find out what we're made of. And it's at those points we cannot forget what we found. When life is easy and when life is going the way we like it to go, we sometimes forget the really big lessons we've learned about ourselves. So what we know through this journey is keep track of who you are. Don't lose sight of it, because nobody else will keep coming up. If you've got friends like us, you do. If you've got friends like us, you do have people like saying how wonderful a person you might be, but not everybody's got that. So don't lose sight of who you are and why you are the way you are. There's a lovely thing, I think it's the Chinese people did, with pots that were cracked, they put gold in the cracks to highlight the flaws. And it just amounts to us really paying attention to what's made us and what's kept us together, as opposed to what's cracked us and what's almost taken us apart.
Yeah, those perfect imperfections.
Yes, and my request on everybody is to be gentle on yourself. Being in our own mind is such a difficult place to be sometimes, but we've all come so far in life. And, I was thinking, the three of us love Disney, don't we?
We do.
And we too. Oh, we love Disney. And we have had some fun at Disney World. But I'm thinking our souls are here to experience, and the ups and downs, the roller coasters, the merry-go-rounds, the rides in the dark, all those kind of things. And someday we're going to be looking back on our life and really looking to see how far we've come and what we've experienced. And although life can be scary, when you actually take a step forward into something you're fearful of, the fear disappears when you're being present. And I was just thinking, what if somebody made this big investment to fly to Florida to go to Walt Disney World, but then they just sat in the parking lot because they really weren't sure of what's inside. So a lot of people make a big journey to come here and spend a lifetime on earth, but do we open every door? Do we get in every line for every ride? Do we buy a cotton candy or an ice cream? Are we too afraid of the unknown? So while we're here, have some new experiences, but be gentle on yourself. If we could have done something different in our past, we would have. So don't have any guilt. Just from this point forward, start thinking about you. Start thinking about what's important. And you are, we're each beautiful souls. And if you want to come join us on a Tuesday or one of our other classes, we would absolutely love that. So Kerry McLeod and Philip Dykes and me, Sandra Champlain, thanks to us. And wherever you, my friend, are, whether you're at home watching this, however you're seeing this, Facebook, YouTube, live, who knows? Thank you. Just know that you're loved. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Sandra.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.